Hi, I'm Bill Woodard, and welcome to the September edition of the Chamber Corner. We're excited about our show today. We've got Miss ERIKA who's going to talk to us about WALTON Days and festivities that are going on there. We've got the Drug Prevention Coalition folks. We're here at their building, and they are telling us about the programs that we have that are going on and are being very effective in our county. And we've been blessed with folks from UT Extension. They always have good segments for us, and so we really appreciate them. And I think Chris is going to talk something about grass and what you need to do this fall. And then we've got a segment right now that we'd like to introduce, Miss Katie Martin.
Hey everyone, and thanks for watching another When I Grow Up Wednesday. Today's going to be our wrap-up of this When I Grow Up Wednesday video series. And though we've explored several careers, we know there are plenty left out there that you as a 4-H'er may want to be a part of one day. But before we can get to that dream career, we know there's several steps that we need to take. And so we at the Extension Office wanted to help provide you some key steps to success, no matter what future career you're hoping to go into.
So the advice I would give to a young person going into their career is to get out and meet as many people in your field as you can, whether that's through volunteering or taking an internship, even if it's an unpaid internship. Really, the more people that you can know, the better off you're going to be. It really is, in a lot of cases, who you know that will get your foot in the door. That doesn't determine if you're going to be successful or not, but it will a lot of times get your foot in the door of that first job early on in your career. Once you get that first job, even if it's not where you ultimately want to wind up, if you work hard, if you do the things that don't necessarily require the most talent, you may not be the smartest person in your class, you may not have been the valedictorian, you may not necessarily be even the most talented, but if you work hard, if you show up to work on time, if you have a good attitude, if you're coachable, that's going to separate you. Those are the things that are going to get you noticed and hopefully allow you to progress through your career.
No matter if you are hoping to go straight from high school into a career, or if you're pursuing your college education, it's really important that you are a well-rounded individual. Both colleges and employers are going to look for things like your academics, community service and involvement, and your extracurricular activities. When we think about academics, we think about good grades, which is of course important. You want to especially concentrate on those classes that are going to be helpful to you in your major or in your future career. So if you are hoping to be a nurse one day, really concentrate on those science classes and get the most that you can out of them. But we also know that academics, grades, ACT scores, those aren't everything. Colleges are also looking to see what you did outside of your school hours. So maybe you were in 4-H or FFA, maybe you were in band or played a sport. All of those things show that you are able to balance and juggle multiple activities while still being dedicated, committed, and hardworking to academics and extracurriculars. Make sure you keep a good record of these extracurriculars so you can clearly show them on your resume and application. So keep a running total of all the things you do as far as clubs go. We also look at things like community service. Are you involved in the community? Do you give back to the place you live? 4-H offers some great ways to do that through our community club, whether we're baking cookies for our EMS, cleaning up litter around Crump Paris Park, or donating items to the Pregnancy Help Center. All these things show that we are in tune with our community and want to give back. So thinking about all these is important when applying for college, scholarships, or your next job. So think about those things along with the academics.
I'd like to talk about professional dress because lots of times that's the first thing a potential employer will notice when you're meeting them. So I'll start out with women. We're women. I always try to do a business professional. There's also business casual, but I like to be overdressed for an interview. So you want to make sure that if you have long hair, you have it held back or it's out of your face. If you're wearing a suit, you want to make sure it's a neutral color, such as black or gray or brown. You want to make sure that your blouse under your suit is a muted color or white. And if you're wearing a shirt or blouse with just pants, then you want to make sure that blouse covers your shoulder. For pants, you want to make sure that they're full length. You don't want to have capris or cropped pants. You can also do a skirt. You want to just make sure that skirt hits your knees, as well as if you're wearing a dress, you want to make sure that hits your knees as well. And I always like to tie it in with stockings just to give it a little bit more of a finished look. For shoes, you want to make sure that they're closed-toe shoes. You can wear flats or heels. You just want to make sure that your heels are low to the ground, so about 1/2 inch to 1 inch. For men, business professional, again, you can do a suit as well. You want to make sure that suit is a neutral color, not a bright color. You can have a little pattern such as pinstripes, but you don't want to get too busy with your pattern. For the shirt underneath, again, you want to make sure that it's white or muted, and you want to make sure that the length of your sleeve is 1 inch or 1/2 inch below your suit length, arm length. For pants, again, you just want to make sure that they match the suit and are a neutral color. And for your shoes, you want to wear dress shoes, and usually those are leather. And you want to make sure that your socks match the rest of your outfit. So usually dark socks are a good option. And again, that's what I would suggest for a business professional going into interviews. And it's always a good idea as well to pick out clothes for the actual job. So sometimes those jobs require in-services or other business meetings, and you can also go business casual. So that's just a little bit more casual. So for a lady, that might include a cardigan instead of a blazer. And for men, that might include khaki pants instead of dress pants, and not having a tie. You also want to have a tie in those business professionals, and you want to make sure that the tie hits the belt on the length. If you have any questions about business professional dress, be sure to contact the extension office.
So one thing that I want to talk about is when you're preparing to apply for a job or even to college, you want to make sure that all of your application materials are in order and free of grammar errors. So you want to make sure to have somebody else look at your resume and at those application materials. Maybe it's an essay or a cover letter. Just always have a second set of eyes on those materials so that you can make sure there's no grammar errors, because if there is an error, that's something that can immediately disqualify you when there's 60 other applicants. You want to make sure everything is in order. And another thing that you can do when you get ready to submit your resume or when you turn in your application, it's always a good idea to make a personal connection with your potential employer. If that's a quick phone call saying, hey, I put my name in the hat, this is who I am and a little bit about me, you could send them a quick friendly email just letting them know, or even you could ask your references or people that know you and can speak to your skills and experiences to call that employer and put in a good word for you, because that can really make you stand out when it gets down to just a few, when the employer is making that decision as to who to pick. That will make you stand out and make them remember who you are.
Over this summer, we have been able to explore so many different jobs and careers found right here in Smith County. Maybe a couple have sparked your interest and you have found your dream career. If so, we want you to know that we are always here for you to help, whether that be with extracurricular activities, tips on dress, resume writing, or interview skills. UT Extension is here to help you. So feel free to contact us at 615-735-2900, or you can email me at kclark54@utk.edu. Thanks so much for watching.
We are here with one of these great people from UT Extension. I'm telling you, Mary, I really appreciate what you all guys, you all do. You are really a moving force in the county. Now you handle FCE And FCE is a group of ladies that get together and they meet, when my mom was going, it was called Home Demonstration Club. Is that right?
Yes, it was.
Okay, and you guys do programs, teach each other things, do stuff like that. Now, you wanted to talk about something in particular today, couponing?
Yes, so during the pandemic, many people might be watching their money more than usual, and I know that I always love a good deal. So I guess the question that a lot of people ask are, does coupons really save you money? Which they can if you are already planning on buying the product. But you want to ask yourself a couple of questions, such as if you had to buy 2 or more of the products, will that product go bad before you can use it? Also, if you have to drive out of your way, will you really save money using that coupon? So things like that.
Okay, well now I've seen guys on TV and they go, you know, this is a $300 grocery bill and I paid 42 cents. Is that real?
Well, you know, there's lots of good things that you can do to save money. So nowadays, lots of people have smartphones. Even if you don't have smartphones, you can find coupons on the website. So you just want to make sure that you don't put your personal information out there as much as possible. So definitely if it asks bank account information, you'll be wary about those things. But I know I personally have lots of apps on my smartphone, so I can, whenever I go grocery shopping, I just upload my receipt into my smartphone, and it shows me what products I can use a coupon on. So some of those products are not brand specific and some of them are, so it just depends. And personally, I like to look at those apps after I go to the grocery store, so I'm not tempted on spending something on a product that I might not spend ahead of time.
Okay, yeah, because it's sort of like the old adage, if you go to the grocery store hungry, you're going to buy more than if you eat before you go. I don't know if that's true or not, but I've heard that.
Yes, that is a good shopping tip too. You don't want to go to the grocery store hungry because you definitely will be tempted to buy more products.
Well, I know I love those marshmallow chocolate covered cookie things.
Yes.
And that's the only time I buy them is when I'm really hungry and I go in there, because the other time I go, you don't need that. So, okay, couponing, the Sunday paper used to have a lot of coupons. I know the Courier, they have coupons and things in it, so
Yes.
you can clip those out, so you can still do it that way, even
Yes.
though if you don't have, like you say, the cell phone.
Right. So paper coupons are a great way to save money, as well as online. Online, you want to make sure that you have don't spend extra money on the ink and the toner, especially like I said, the safety precautions. Just to get a coupon, you don't want to put your bank information on that because it's not worth getting your identity stolen just to save a few bucks on a coupon. So really, I think the main thing that I look at is if I'm going to buy the product already, if I really need it, then obviously I'm going to buy it. So.
Well, and the idea behind some coupons is they're trying to get you to try something that you don't normally buy, right?
Yes.
To try, and you might actually find something you like.
Yes, that's true as well. I guess I just would be wary of, you could find something that you like, but you could not also like the product. So there's pros and cons to all those decisions.
Yeah, okay, well, anything else on couponing?
I think that's it. If you have any consumer economics related questions, you can always give us a call at the Extension office. Our number is 615-735-2900.
Okay, and Mary, thank you for coming by. And these guys at UT Extension, they're first class. All right, we have our resident weed expert here with us today, but he's not going to talk about weeds today, are you?
Well, maybe. We'll see how it goes.
We'll see how it goes. Well, this is Mr. Chris Hicks. He's with UT Extension, that little outfit up there in Knoxville, you know, that we all know and love. And so, Chris, what are you going to talk about, grass?
I think it's a good month to talk about grass. September is when we normally talk about seeding, so
You
great
know,
month to do it.
and I guess, I don't know, farmers and smart people already know this, but in my mind, you'd think you'd plant grass in the spring, but not necessarily.
In Tennessee, it's tough in the spring because in the spring, you've got a lot of things going against you, primarily the weather. If you can get it dry enough to plant in the spring, a lot of times it'll turn off hot and dry, and those seedlings may come up, may germinate and come up, but it'll turn off so hot and dry sometimes that they just die out. Plus, then again, you've got the crabgrass and weeds that kind of overtake them in the summer too. So it's really tough in the spring. Fall is really the best time to seed grass.
Okay, I have got a question for you, and this is not scripted, folks. There is a grass that is growing in my yard. It's Frankenstein grass because nothing will kill it. What is that?
I would have to see it to identify it. You know, you'd have to bring it into me to tell. I'd be going out on a limb if I just guessed. But I bet there's something that'll kill it. If not, you can just get out there on your hands and knees and pull it.
Well, I tell you what, folks, I did. He's really good. I got this weed, and I carried it around in my car for about 3 weeks.
Which is what I told you not to do.
Which is exactly what he told me not to do, and then I took it in, and he still told me what it was. So, folks, he can do it.
Well, I appreciate your confidence.
Tell us about the grass.
So, again, September is really the best time to sow grass when we're talking about cool season grass. Now, if you're talking about a warm season like Bermuda grass, that's different. But if we're talking about a cool season grass like tall fescue, which is our primary turf and our primary pasture forage, September is a great time to do it. Temperatures start to cool down, and it'll give it a couple of months before the really heavy frost kind of slow it back to get those roots developed and off to a good start.
Okay. Well, now, so you're talking cool season grasses. Are they also feed grasses for like livestock?
Could be. So we could be talking about tall fescue. They're among that broad category. We talk about tall fescue. There are certain varieties that do really well for pasture, like Kentucky 31, which is an old standby in pastures and hayfields. But then there are some that have been developed as more of a turf type. They grow closer together, grow shorter, and they're really good for turf, but it's all tall fescue. So regardless of whether you're talking about a pasture or a lawn, really some of the keys and the principles to establishing grass are going to be the same.
Okay, well, a lot of people, when I was younger, talked about Lespedeza and Cerisa.
Yeah.
That's a grass?
Well, it's really more of a forb. It's a broadleaf, and it's more of a summer grass that you'll see a lot of times in some pastures and hayfields. Really good as a forage in its place. A lot of times cattle won't eat it out in the pasture, but they will in hay. And the interesting thing about that particular species is it is a natural dewormer. So our goat and our sheep producers really like Cerisa lespedeza because it actually acts as a dewormer to clean out some of those parasites.
Oh, well, I did not know that. Since we're on grass, a lot of folks out there, they don't have a farm and they're not feeding livestock, but they've got a lawn.
Exactly.
What is the best lawn grass in Tennessee, or is that kind of a big
I hate to come back to tall fescue, but it really is. It really is the best as far as easiest to manage and stays pretty longer. So tall fescue will really stay nice and green from about late March or April all the way up until after frost, whereas something like Bermuda grass looks really good during the summer, but it's going to turn brown during the fall. But most of your athletic fields, that's what they use is Bermuda grass because it takes those tackling in those compacted areas, they take that soil compaction a little bit better than the tall fescue. But there are others. There are some other warm season species like I think St. Augustine grass is really pretty, but it's hard to deal with in Tennessee. The difficult thing about Tennessee weather is we're kind of too warm for a lot of grasses, and we get too cold in the winter for some other grasses, so we're kind of in no man's land. But tall fescue really is a good option, and this is a good month to put it out there.
Okay, when I remember one time I told you I had bluegrass and clover in my yard, and you said, yeah, you've got bluegrass and a weed.
Yeah. Yeah.
But some people do that. I guess the clover they planted, my dad is the one that actually planted it. It probably did that for the nitrogen that it puts in the soil.
A lot of times in pastures, we love clover in pastures and hayfields because it does take that nitrogen and allow other plants to use it. In a yard, a lot of times it comes up. We may not be as happy that it's there in a yard, but like I sometimes tell people, at least it's green.
Yeah,
if it's green, maybe you're happy.
Yeah, and it doesn't, if it doesn't choke out. The bluegrass is a little more difficult to maintain.
It is. It doesn't stand our hot weather during the summer quite as well as the tall fescue.
Okay.
But regardless of what you're planting, one of the keys that I would tell our viewers is do a soil test. And we've talked about soil testing before, that folks can come in, they can bring their soil to the extension office, and we can help them package it, fill out some paperwork, and send it to our lab, and the lab will tell them exactly what nutrients they're missing and exactly what nutrients they need. So if you have acidic soil, your grass isn't going to do very well. And you need to know that, because you can fix it with lime, but if you don't test it, you don't know how much lime to put on there. But our lab can do that for you and give you those recommendations and really get you off to a good start as you're trying to seed grass or reseed grass.
Okay, what's the cost of
$15. So it's $15 that the lab charges, because they've got equipment and personnel and all that. So our office doesn't charge anything to help you put that together. And we've even got some equipment we can help you pull those samples, or you can just use a shovel and pull them yourself. But we'll help you get started. We don't charge anything, but the lab does charge that $15 fee.
Okay,
but
well,
when you
cool.
compare that to throwing a bunch of fertilizer out there, just guessing, it's pretty reasonable and maybe a lot cheaper in the long run than just throwing fertilizer out and hoping it works.
Yeah, and if you're not careful, you put too much fertilizer on, you have a path instead
That's
of
right.
grass.
That's exactly right. Yes, sir.
So that's really good. Well, folks, you take a weed and let it sit on the dash of your truck for a week, and Chris can still identify it. I can attest to that.
We'll give it a shot.
All right, UT Extension, you're going to sing Rocky Top as we leave?
That would be cruel and unusual punishment. I will not subject our good DTC folks to that.
Okay, well, I guess on that note, we'll be out of here.
Thank you, Bill.
Thank you. Walton Days is coming up,
Soon.
and we're excited about it, aren't we?
Yes, very. It's
Oh,
gonna be
yeah,
great.
September the 26th.
Yep, Saturday.
And we're going to start at about 10 o'clock in the morning, and it's going to go till, well,
Late.
When the band plays, late.
Yeah.
It could go to midnight.
Yeah.
Yeah, possibly. But anyway, Walton Days is happening on the square, and ERIKA EBEL is here. She is one of the folks on the committee with us. And ERIKA, just tell them what you want to tell them about Walton Days.
Well, we're having Walton Days this year, and it's right here on the historic square in downtown Carthage. We're going to have, just like years past, we'll have reenactors, demonstrators, vendors, food trucks, different things for the kids to do, activities, and our Harvest Queen pageant at the end of the day, and then goes straight into our little night concert that we started a couple years ago. So.
Yeah. And we're really looking forward to that. And I know we're not going to steal their thunder. I believe Rackley is going to be here, but they're going to bring the zip line back.
Yeah, and a few other things.
And the simulator and everything. But I thought this would be a good opportunity for me to thank them for something a lot of people don't realize they are doing or have done. Is our bathrooms were in need of a repair in the back behind the courthouse, and they have come in and made that a modern and upgraded that, and so we're going to have those bathrooms.
We're very grateful for that.
Yes, so thank you,
That's much
Rackley
needed.
Roofing.
Yes.
We appreciate that. And if you guys, I don't know if you guys need any roofing done, they're a commercial roofer, but they do a good job, and we appreciate the support that they're giving us.
They have a
at the
residential
chamber.
division too. So,
I've always been around the commercial, and I didn't realize that.
Yep. So, so they're a great sponsor for our community. We have several other sponsors that usually do the event every year, and some of them are.
Well, you've got Wilson Bank and Trust, who always come through for us. Citizens Bank, which comes through for us. We've got the Defeated Creek Marina this year, who's helping us out. We've got. And my mind's starting to go blank. It's bad. Riverview Regional Hospital. Those guys are going to be here a little later and talk about some things that they've got going on. And then we've also, we usually have Smith County Bank, and Bank Tennessee had said they would do something. Walmart is usually involved. And our big sponsor for the DTC Communications Minuteman Call is, of course, DTC Communications. These are the guys that actually allow us to be on TV and tape the programs. So we really appreciate all these guys that are helping us out. And the
Minuteman Call, that's a really cool thing that we do here. You put your name in for a drawing, and you could win free cash, free money.
yeah, exactly. We give away Walmart gift cards and money, cash. And what we do is we make sure that we have at least $100 to give away at 7 o'clock right before the band concert. So if you're coming to be involved in what's going on, you want to hang around until that so that you can win that $100. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. And sometimes it is bigger, because what we'll do is we'll do 3 calls. We found out that you can't keep calling people. We'll do 3 calls, and if we don't get an answer, then that money goes in to the evening call. So one year a lady won $350.
Wow. Yeah.
at 7 o'clock.
Just for coming out to a free event.
Yeah, she came out for a free concert. So that's good.
Lots of music.
Yeah, lots of music
day.
during the day. We've got a lot of local bands that are going to be playing, and we're going to close off. Well, I got to get my permit into the city.
Yeah.
Or we may not close off anything. But anyway, we are planning on closing off the front in front of the courthouse, and then Main Street up and 3rd Street down, and having all kinds of vendors. And I know our vendor, the New Level Church, they always come and do really elaborate,
really cool area.
Restaurant type area. And so we're looking forward to seeing them come, and they've already committed and said that they'll be there. And
plenty of fun free activities for the kids. Usually we'll have some kind of bouncy house. We've got the zip line, all the stuff that Rackley's going to be bringing, which they're bringing some really cool things. And then we're going to work on a scavenger hunt this year for them with prizes. So just want, come out and bring the whole family for this day.
Well, and talking about the scavenger hunt, you're planning on doing it a little different this year. You used to, in past, it's been a timed event where it started at this time and ended at this time, but you're going to kind of make it throughout the day.
Yeah, they can just pick up their sheets, go get them filled out, and then bring them back in for a prize, which is not yet to be determined. But we will figure something out.
We'll figure out what the prize is.
But it just encourages them to get around. It's a big day for a lot of the local businesses if they're open that day, for you to get around downtown. Not have to worry about parking and traffic. You're parked, you can walk around, see the different, the restaurants, the shops, the different businesses that are here.
Oh yeah, and see Walton Hotel, they'll be open. And I don't know if Nobel's is ready to open quite yet, but they're getting close. But you got the antique shops up there, they'll be open.
Yep.
The Rojas
boutiques
down here, they'll be open. The boutiques will be open.
Evil's Tavern will be open.
Evil's Tavern will be open. There's a lot of things going on within the people that are already here on the square. So it's a pretty exciting time.
And there'll be food vendors and all that other stuff too.
Hashtag Hollies.
Yes. Hashtag Hollies, Teresa's at the end there.
Teresa's gifts. And there's going to be a lot of good things going on.
Cozy Cabin.
Cozy Cabin.
Candy bar, all that. So.
And the candy bar. You're going to love that. You need to go in there. And there is a rumor that there is a new business going to open up. I don't know if they'll be open by Walton Days, but I hear they may announce.
Possibly.
So we got something to look forward to. There's a lot happening here on the square, and so we'd like to have you come by. So remember, September the 26th.
Last
That's
Saturday
a
of the month.
Last Saturday of the month, and it's William Walton Days. And come visit with your friends. And by the way, we know we've got a pandemic coming on, and we're going through that. And so we're going to encourage people to wear masks. It's not a requirement, but we're going to encourage people to wear a mask and just kind of be safe. We feel like that we can put this event on and be safe and enjoy ourselves and each other's company and still be the way we're supposed to be with this pandemic going on. So folks, don't let that hinder you. Come on out and be around your friends, and we'll have a good concert, and we'll have the seats spaced out, and folks, you can come and enjoy yourself, and this may be the first time you got out. So
in some nice fall weather, hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully we'll have some nice mild weather. Not too cold, not too hot. Okay, well, I guess. Thank you.
All right.
Okay, we're honored to have Miss Jenny Smith with us here, and it's Jenny, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I always try to put an EA in that. That's wrong. But Jenny is with Rackley Roofing, and she has come to talk to us today. You guys are going to show up big time at Walton Days. Is that right?
That is correct. If you have ever seen the zip line at a Titans Stadium game, we're going to bring that to Smith County. It's going to be right here in the square in Carthage. So we're really pumped up and excited about that. I think in the past couple of years it's been here before, and we are bringing it back because it's been such a hit. So we're honored and pleased to be able to provide that for Walton Day this year.
Oh yeah, and it's great that you guys do that. Also, another thing that was really popular, I think you brought it last year, was the NASCAR simulator. Is that right?
Absolutely. We sponsor a NASCAR truck. And fortunately in 2020, that particular truck is going to be part of the NASCAR series for Xbox. So we are going to bring that simulator out so you can actually get your hands on the wheel and test drive the truck. around the track. So we're excited to bring that back as well.
I wanted to try that last year, but I never could find an empty spot. It was full of all the time I was
So popular, and we don't want to, like push kids out of the way or anything, but we'll make sure that we carve out some time.
Okay, maybe before the thing opens.
Absolutely, make sure that it works.
Yeah, there you go. I can be the test dummy. I can handle that part.
Nice,
Yeah.
wonderful.
You guys also are pretty active in the community in some of the things that you do, and we mentioned this, I think, in our other segment, but you guys repaired the bathrooms up here behind the courthouse just as a donation to the community.
Yes.
It's much appreciated.
Yes, absolutely. We are just right over here in South Carthage. We are very passionate about helping the community any way that we can. So, remodeling these bathrooms was no big deal for us. We're happy to do that. Like I said, I am from Rackley Roofing, and we have been in the community for such a long time. We just this past, right before back to school, we were able to sponsor 100 backpacks and donate those to the school. So it's not uncommon for us to, really be here for the community and help out in any way that we can. So.
Well, I know when we were moving the depot, which, by the way, folks, the depot, I don't know if you've noticed, but the deck is getting put around it. The interior is basically finished, and so the Carthage Junction Depot is going to be open and showing it to people here soon. But they're building the deck. But you guys took the roof off. We went under the interstate, and then you put the roof back on. That is a big donation.
Yeah, I mean, once again, like you say, we are all about the community. This business has been here for as long as I can remember, so we are happy and proud to support in any way that we can. So we're happy to do that.
We certainly appreciate you guys, and you tell Curtis and Michelle that we said good things about them. Okay?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Oh, I forgot. Is Clay going to get to come to Walton Days?
We're trying to pull some strings to get him to come. There may be a race that he has to be at the next day, so we're trying to confirm whether or not we're going to make that happen. But hey, come to Walton Day to find out if he's going to be there or not.
That's right, Clay. Well, introduce him. Tell him who he is.
So
what number?
Clay Greenfield, number 68 with the Rackley race car truck. He is out of Mount Juliet, so he's a local as well, right? But he's been doing pretty well this year.
Yes.
He placed 19th in the last race that we had, so we're very excited and proud of him, and just continuing to hope that he is even more successful. So.
Yeah, and I understand that September 26th, there's maybe a Las Vegas race the next day.
The next day,
but maybe he'll just not do Las Vegas and come to Carthage.
Maybe we'll pull a little string, see if we can get him to come to Smith County.
I think that'd be great. Jenny, thanks for coming by.
Thank you for having me.
All right. We are here with Miss Suzanne Angel. Suzanne, thank you very much for consenting to interview with us. You're going to talk about naloxone, is that right?
Yes, I'm going to talk a little bit about September's National Recovery Month, but August 31st was International Overdose Awareness Day. Colby Lane and I and all the coalitions and the regional overdose prevention specialists across the state have had a lot of naloxone use trainings. We're trying to get awareness and prevention and training people how to use naloxone.
Well, I know you do a lot of trainings around the area. What are some of the counties that you've been to locally?
Yes, well, we're going to Putnam County and we're going to Macon County. We've got events in Clay and we've got 2 in Jackson County. We've had several here in Smith County, Cumberland County, and we're also working to try to get into the rest of the counties in the Upper Cumberland. We had to cancel one in Overton, but they're going to reschedule with us.
Okay, and I know in time past you've been to DeKalb and...
Oh yes, we just had a wonderful event in DeKalb County. We partnered with the DeKalb Prevention Coalition and the DeKalb Recovery Court, people from Lifeline, lots of different recovery groups and prevention people and treatment people were there, and it was a wonderful candlelight vigil, and we trained several people on how to use naloxone.
Okay, well, I knew you'd do that. Do you ever get as far as Cannon County and down in that area?
Cannon County is not our region, but they have a regional overdose prevention specialist, so sometimes we cross over a little bit because it's considered part of the Upper Cumberland, but they're not in our county. But if anybody is interested in Cannon County, they can reach out to me, and I'll be glad to direct them to their regional overdose prevention specialist.
Well, I want to make sure I understand. Naloxone is a not really a drug, or is it a drug?
It's a medication. It's an overdose reversal medication for opioid overdose. And we're really seeing fentanyl, which is a powerful opioid, 50 to 100 times stronger than morphine. We're seeing that get into the illegal drug supply, and it's causing a lot of deaths. It's increased about 975% since the end of 2017, deaths from fentanyl.
Yeah, and if you know somebody that you love and care about that has this problem, it would probably be a good idea for you to have that around. But until they can get recovered and get loose from this stuff, they need some folks kind of watching out for them.
Yes, the Surgeon General encourages us people to carry naloxone and know how to use it. And it's not just for people in active addiction. We definitely want those people to have it and the people that love them. But even if people have prescribed opioids for chronic pain, they're at risk for overdose. People who first-time drug users, recreational drug users, you just never know with this powerful opioids getting into the drug supply, you could have an overdose. So the more people that know how to do it, how to administer this, it's easy, it's a nasal spray, the more lives that can be saved. And since we started this program in October 2017, people taking our training have saved over 15,000 lives. By giving naloxone, and that doesn't include all the wonderful lives saved by our EMS in our hospital emergency rooms.
Okay, what's the responsibility of a person if they administer this? How does that affect them?
Well, Tennessee has a Good Samaritan law that protects them from any civil liability. There's really no wrong way for them to give naloxone. After they've had a basic training, they should know what to do, and every single time you're going to call 911. So all that responsibility doesn't ever going to fall on somebody. That's just the first step in the emergency management of this situation.
And if I understand, and now these folks might need to know that you're a registered nurse, right?
I'm a registered nurse, but you don't have to be a registered nurse anymore. Since 2015, anyone with training can administer naloxone either intramuscularly or by intranasally through the nasal spray, and you can save someone's life. And it's free. They can get it through us. You can go to your provider and get it prescribed, and there's also participating pharmacies that carry naloxone.
And most of the kits are nasal spray, is that right?
That's what we give out, but you can get other types of naloxone if you'd rather, but what we have in our kits that we give out is the nasal spray Narcan. And
if you walk up on somebody that's passed out and you suspect that it's an overdose, you can give them the naloxone, and if it's not an overdose, it does not harm them.
It doesn't harm them. It won't help them, so we're still going to call an ambulance because there's something wrong. But you're going to call the person by name, you're going to shake them, you're going to do that sternal rub. While you're doing that sternal rub, you're going to look to see if they're breathing, what their lips, their fingernail beds look like. If they're blue, purple, gray, or black, that means they're not getting enough oxygen. They're making a gaspy, gurgly, choking sound. Administer naloxone, call 911. They can talk to you. They're just over-medicated. Their speech is a little slurred. I'm not saying they don't need an emergency help, but you're not going to give naloxone yet. Yeah, it's a life and death situation.
It's one of those drugs that it's once you get trained, you know, okay, it's either give it or not give it.
Yes. And a lot of people worry that giving naloxone increases drug use. It sends people with opioid dependence into physical withdrawal, which is uncomfortable. They're never going to be able to administer it to themselves. They're going to lose consciousness, and then they're going to stop breathing. And really, the only thing naloxone enables is breathing.
Yeah. Well, it's a wonderful thing, and I really appreciate what you do.
Yes.
And thank you for letting us come to the coalition to do our taping.
Oh, thank you so much. And anybody needs us, just let us know. We're here, and it's free. The training's free.
Okay. Give the number out. We'll do it several times, but go ahead.
It's 615-588-1622.
Okay, and they're right here on the square in Carthage, and also up in the old historic courthouse.
That's true. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, Suzanne. First, I'd like to say, Barbara, thank you so much for letting us come down to your office.
Our new office.
Yeah. The Drug Coalition, you're at 115 Water Street in Carthage.
We are, and we really love being here. We love our new office, and we have a lot more space because our program is always expanding, and so we invite folks to come visit us here.
Okay, and you're basically a grant-driven program. You don't really receive any government funding unless there's maybe a donation from somewhere, right?
We would definitely, we want to sustain ourselves in the community, so it's good for the community to help to sustain coalitions, but we are primarily funded through grants with the State of Tennessee Department of Mental Health and Substance Abuse Services.
So in other words, if a church or an individual wanted to make some donations, it would be accepted?
It would be accepted because absolutely, we're a community coalition. We're all in this together. We're all affected by it. And we'd love to see more people involved in the community because really it's only as successful as the number of people that get involved. And we're all touched by it in some way. And we always say we can all do something.
Yeah, well, and I think a lot of folks maybe have the wrong impression that it is a government entity, and it is not.
It is not. It's a community. It's absolutely a boots on the ground community coalition. And we just get stronger as people join the coalition. And it's open to everybody in the community.
Well, and I know you've got some really fine folks working with you.
I do.
Volunteering and all kind of
we need
situations
volunteers.
going on.
We a lot of times have prevention positions open here as well. There's a lot of funding to coalitions now, and it's a great field to work in. It's very satisfying to work in.
Well, somebody's sitting out there, they're saying, what are they talking about? So what are we talking about, Bobby?
Well, we are talking about really an epidemic that's been going on a long time in the United States and in the state of Tennessee, where we're losing a lot of lives. It's having a huge economic impact. Families are touched by it, our hospitals, our law enforcement. Everybody's touched by addiction in some way. And part of that is because we haven't talked about it in the past. But in the 9 years that the coalition's been funded here in Smith County, I'm glad to see that it's no longer being swept under the rug, but we're talking about it because these are valuable human beings that have the disease of addiction. And we can find ways to help them. But if we don't talk about it, if we don't reduce the stigma, then people aren't going to ask for help. And we want people to ask for help.
Okay, and they have recovery court, which is not really a part of
but we're great partners together. They're a great partner.
Very much partner, and they work together, and you support them, of course.
We do.
And we've got other entities here that are trying to do that, like Suzanne is doing naloxone training, and
the same night as our upcoming event.
Yeah. Speaking of that, let's mention that Lights for Recovery. Lights
for Recovery. I think this is our 4th year to do Lights for Recovery during the September Recovery Month that Suzanne talked about, and this is a really special occasion for us during Recovery Month. We're going to meet at the Smith County Historic Courthouse in the front, and that's what we've done. So we don't want to have rain that day, but we meet out front, and we have kind of 3 goals, and we invite folks to come and take part in that and pray with us and be a part of the candlelight service that we have. But our goals are to encourage the people that are in long-term recovery. And more people are in long-term recovery. Thousands and thousands live every day in long-term recovery. So we want to be there to encourage them and support them, but we also want to support those folks still struggling with addiction and find the recovery resources that they need. And then we want to remember and honor those people, those families that have lost a loved one to an overdose. Every life is valuable, and one life lost is too much, but Smith County and Tennessee is on the rise still on overdoses, especially during the pandemic. I said we have a pandemic within an epidemic, so it's affecting those people even more. Yeah, and that is a sad thing because as you stated, many of us and many of you out there will have someone either in their family or that they know, a friend that Absolutely.
has been touched by addiction and lost their life. Yeah. And that is a sad thing, but it's a wonderful thing to know that you folks are out there fighting against this and trying to help folks.
Absolutely.
You know, a lot of times if we're not careful, we'll have a tendency to say, well, let's just throw them away.
Yeah.
And that's
they're not important.
That's what you guys
do
not do. You don't throw anybody away.
We don't, because people do recover.
Yes, they do.
Recovery is real, and there is more hope today than there ever has been for recovery. More recovery treatment facilities, more recovery beds, grant-funded beds. If people will call us, we work really hard. And COLBY Lane's going to talk a little bit about his program. That's what he does. But we work really hard, even though we kind of are the prevention side of it. We go in the schools a lot and work at prevention. But we know that we're in the middle of an epidemic. We need to help everybody that calls. And people have called us and gotten into recovery and are now in long-term recovery. In fact, at our Lights for Recovery, Rhonda Gregory is going to be there to share her story of addiction and what brought her to recovery and how she sustains that recovery. She's going to speak that night and share her story, and that story will bring hope to a lot of people that their loved ones are still out there in addiction.
Okay, well, let's give them the date and time again.
Okay, the date is September 24th. That's a Thursday evening. It's at 6 p.m. At the historic courthouse, and at 5 o'clock will be the naloxone training, and then our music will start at 5:30. And we have a really special treat I want to tell you about, Bill. I met at a conference in Knoxville not too long ago. I met Katie Davis, and she is the 2017 Miss Tennessee. And she, her platform was to go to schools and talk to students during her reign about addiction and recovery. And so now she works for the state of Tennessee Department of Mental Health and Substance Abuse Service, and she's going to come, and she's an amazing singer. So she's going to come and sing for us that night and just help us bring hope.
So that's a wonderful thing to look forward to then.
Yeah, and then we have 3 local pastors that are going to join us. Each of the 3 goals that I mentioned, we'll have a pastor that will pray over each of those groups of people, those families that have lost someone and those families still struggling. So it's a special night. We'll light a candle that night, and we'll put luminaries on the steps of the courthouse that will signify how many deaths each day are lost. Last year was about 191, so we had 191 purple candles on the courthouse steps, and it's a very solemn occasion, but also a reminder of hope.
Yeah, and that's what if you're out there and you know someone that needs this help, how can they get in touch with you?
They can definitely, we do have a website, smithcountydrugprevention.org. Call our phone number, 615-588-1622, or come behind the old courthouse at our new office and just visit us.
Yeah. Okay, well,
get involved. Absolutely get involved. We meet every month, and we invite everybody that wants to get involved, that has been touched, or just has some volunteer time to give. We'd love to have you get involved.
You know, and you remember those times when you're sitting at the TV and say, somebody ought to do something about that. Well, folks, if you're watching this and you think somebody ought to do something about that, come down, give them a call, get involved.
Sometimes I have people say to me, we're really glad you're doing this. And but we have to do it together. It's too big of a problem, and it's been going on a long time. I think we are looking at, in some areas, we're flattening the curve. We're reducing the number of pain medications that people are prescribed. We're reducing doctor shopping. We definitely are reducing the number of babies being born. There's been a lot of legislation and strategies around that. So in many of the areas, we're flattening the curve. I think the education in the schools, our schools are a great partner with the coalition. So we have a lot of good momentum.
Yeah, I think so too. Well, Barbara, thank you very much. And thanks again for letting us come to your office.
Yeah, enjoy.
This is Mrs. Mary Leslie Wakefield. And Mary, you're going to talk about something that's kind of after my own heart. We're excited about youth leadership.
That's right. Youth Leadership Camp is something that the Coalition has sponsored the last couple of years. It's one of my favorite events. We get to take students that you choose, I think 6 from Smith County High School and 6 from Gordonsville, and we take them to a camp in Smithville. It's called New Frontiers, and they have all these kind of action activities for the kids. It's really fun. Personally, I can't do them, but the kids are able to do them, and they have a really a lot of fun.
Well, I know the times that I've been up there to visit, you can tell they're really enjoying that. Plus, there's an educational component to it too.
Yes.
They learn leadership skills, and you also tell them about some of the drug situations that we have in the county and what's going on in the high school. So I don't know if you had anything to add to that, but I know the education portion of it is really good, and you got them there, they're enjoying themselves. I don't know that they know they're getting that much education.
That's right. We do a lot of fun activities, but we also try to do activities that they learn, and we also have curriculum. We usually do some kind of tobacco prevention on vaping, which is huge in the schools right now. alcohol and, of course, drug misuse. Miss Barber has a wonderful curriculum. It's called Sequence to Success, and it talks about making the right choices in life so that you can have a successful life. And sometimes teenagers don't realize they make that wrong decision, and it really messes up their sequence to success. So yes, we have a lot of fun with the curriculum, a lot of fun activities, and we also learn a lot.
Yeah, and hopefully they learn that there's some things it takes 5 minutes to get into it and 15 years to get out of it.
Well, yeah, that's a good way to put it. That's a real good way to put it.
Yeah, and so now they do, I don't know if they still do the zip line every time. Sometimes they do that, and they do the stacks.
Yes.
There's a lot of fun activities that they do.
Yes, and all the activities are based on team bonding and being a part of a team and working together. So, and those are great leadership skills too. You can't be a good leader if you can't get along with other people. So that's one of the things they learn too.
Well, and one of the things over the years that I've loved is you get the students from Smith County High and from Gordonsville High, and they get together and work, and they make fast friends, and that's a wonderful thing. We have a rivalry, I guess, in football, and it may be in basketball, but when it comes to other things, they seem to work together really well.
They do.
I like that.
They do. When they get to camp, they found out, they're really not too much different from each other. One wears black and gold, and the other one wears blue and white. But besides that, they usually bond together and really have a good time.
Yeah, and I think it's a wonderful program. So youth leadership, is there anything else you wanted to mention?
The only thing I was going to talk about was Lights for Recovery, and I think Ms. Barbara covered that, but I would tell everybody, if you have a chance to come to that. It's so heartwarming, especially if you've lost somebody with substance use disorder. You are not alone. There's people in this community that love you and want to support you and help you. So please come out to our event.
All right. Mary, thank you very much for coming by.
Thank you.
Well, actually, we came by here.
That's right.
This is y'all's office.
This is my office.
So thank you for letting us use your office.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Okay, we're here still at the Drug Prevention Coalition, and this is Mr. Colby Lane. Colby, appreciate you coming and interviewing with us, and appreciate you letting us come to your offices. You're involved in several programs around here, and I think you just want to take off on one of them and talk about it a little bit?
Yeah, so I'm one of the other regional overdose prevention specialists with Suzanne, and I think she touched on earlier what we do. We also just got a new grant here at the coalition. It's called a hybrid lifeline coordinator. The state's put 7 people in distressed counties throughout the state to support the Lifeline Peer Project that already had 10 people throughout the state. We help people get into treatment, as well as provide recovery resources to the community, and try to work with the churches to raise awareness and reduce stigma in the congregations.
Okay, so this basically is a faith-based initiative. Now, one thing that a lot of people wouldn't realize out there, Jamie, help me with this last name.
Harper.
Jamie Harper is with the state of Tennessee. He's an employee of the state of Tennessee, and they have what they call a faith-based initiative, where he goes out and works with local churches and people like that, and the state of Tennessee is actually supporting that in an effort to have people recover. I don't know if you can add anything to that, but I know you and Jamie are good friends.
Yes, we sure are. So the director of faith-based initiatives is Dr. Monty Burks. Jamie is a faith-based community coordinator. There's 3 of Jamie throughout the state, the West, the Middle, and the East. He covers the Middle Division. As well as the Lifeline Peer Project and the Hybrid Lifeline Coordinators, we are all part of the faith-based initiative. And what we're really trying to do is show how much power there is in the faith community.
So if you're involved in a church and they want to find out more about this, how would they go about letting their pastor know? Who does he need to contact?
They can contact me directly, or they can contact the coalition. They could get on Tennessee.gov, type in faith-based initiatives, and see all the different grants and projects that are available through the initiative. Okay, and now you cover more than just Smith County, is that correct? Yes, sir. What do you cover? Okay, I cover Jackson, Clay, Smith, Macon, and Trousdale.
Okay, and so that's a pretty large area. So you're basically kind of based out of here, but you go to all of those places, working with different coalitions, I presume.
Yes, sir.
And having meetings and things of that nature.
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right. Colby, is there anything you want to add?
I'm a person in long-term recovery from polysubstance use, and I started using in my teens. If I make it to November 30th, I'll have 3 years of sobriety. Recovery is real. People do recover, and you can not only live, but you can thrive. I'm thriving right now in life, and it's solely because of what God's done for me. And September is Recovery Month, and if you need help, reach out. I didn't know there was a way out, and there are resources available.
And I see you with your little girl going around.
Yeah.
I'm sure she's happy about all this.
That's definitely one of the best parts of my recovery is my relationship with my daughter.
Brings your family back.
Yes, sir.
That's a good thing. Well, Colby, thanks for being with us.
Thank you, Bill.
Thank you for letting us come here. And folks, if you need any more information about it, do you know the number by heart? It's 588 something. And
1622.
There we go, 588-1622. So 615-588-1622. If you want more information, just give us a call. Colby, thanks.
Thank you, Bill.
Folks, we want to let you know what's going on here in Smith County, and some of these dates, by the time you see this, they may be over, but you can go ahead and maybe attend some of this stuff. First off, there's a Red Cross blood drive at the Chamber of Commerce from 12 to 6 on September the 14th. On September the 19th, the Pleasant Shade Community Center fish fry. That's a Saturday, and it's from 4 to 7 p.m. And I know those folks, they do a good job over there. So if you want some good fish, you can go to that. William Walton Harvest Festival is Saturday, September the 26th. There'll be rides and all kind of games and demonstrators and bands, and it's a big day. So bring the kids and come plan on staying the whole day. The Foster Kids Auction and Fish Fry is Saturday, October the 27th. That's in October at the Smith County Ag Center. And it says Helen's Kitchen will be serving this year. 4 p.m. is the start of the food service, and the auction beginning around 7 p.m. If you want more info, we'll be having some stuff come out soon on that. And the committee is likely to pre-sell the tickets. Things are being done a little differently because of the pandemic, and so you might want to just give us a call at 615-735-2093 if you need an answer to any or any question. We try to be an information point for anything that's going on in Smith County. So folks, we hope you enjoyed this edition of the Smith County Chamber Corner, and we'll see you next time.